Hi, Najia. I hope you're having a great end of the school year and you're looking forward to your summer off and excited about going into fourth grade next year. It's been great getting to know you and read these stories for you this year. I hope you've been enjoying them. This is the last story for the school year here. When Will We Get There by Anne Harth. Dylan climbed into the back seat. He helped his little sister with her seat belt. The car was filled with dolls, stuffed animals, books, and crayons. "Did you bring everything in your room, Lara?" he said. Lara shook her head. "No, my bed's still there." Dylan laughed. Mom started the car and backed out of the driveway. Dylan opened his book. Chapter 1, he read. "When will we get there?" Lara tugged at Dylan's sleeve. He looked up. "Mom, how long will it take to get to Nana's?" Mom glanced at her watch. "We'll be there in 2 hours." Lara frowned. "That's forever." She picked up a doll and combed its hair. Dylan looked down at his book. Chapter 1, he read. Peter Potter was stuck. "How much longer now?" Lara said. Dylan looked up. "Almost 2 hours." Lara frowned. She pulled out a piece of paper. She opened a box of crayons and started to draw. Dylan looked out the window. They were on the highway. Trucks and cars whizzed past. The trees on the side of the road were a blur. He watched a man on a red motorcycle pull up beside them. A tiny dog sat in front of the rider. Dylan waved. The motorcycle sped up and disappeared. Dylan looked down at his book. Chapter 1, he read. Peter Potter was stuck. His leg was trapped. "When will we get there?" Lara said. Dylan sighed. "Soon." He looked up. "You could play with your dolls," he said. Lara shook her head. "They're watching a movie." She pointed to a piece of blank paper. It was taped to the back of the seat. The three dolls and a stuffed elephant sat in front of it. "You could draw a picture." Dylan tapped the box of crayons. "It's too bumpy." "You could read a book." Lara frowned. She opened her alphabet book. Dylan looked down at his own book. Chapter 1, he read. Peter Potter was stuck. His leg was trapped under a giant rock. "When will we get there?" Lara said. "Lara, I'm trying to read," Dylan said. Lara smiled. She poked Dylan's leg. "Will you read to me?" Dylan sighed. "Will you be quiet?" Lara nodded. Dylan slid closer to his sister. He buckled his seatbelt and opened his book. Chapter 1, Dylan said. Peter Potter was stuck. Lara grew quiet. Dylan read a little more. His leg was trapped under a giant rock. Lara rested her head on Dylan's arm. Dylan kept reading. He pulled and pulled, but it wouldn't move. Lara was silent as Dylan read. He peeked down at his sister. She was sound asleep. Dylan kept reading. When Dylan was on the 5th chapter, the car slowed. Mom turned onto a small street. She pulled into a driveway and stopped. Dylan looked up. Nana waved and hurried toward the car. Lara lifted her head. She rubbed her eyes. "When will we get there?" she said. Dylan laughed. "We're there." All right, here are the questions for the story. Where does this story take place? Why can't Laura play with her dolls? Lara play with her dolls. What story are they reading? I don't do you if you have a brother or sister, do they ever bother you like this? Or do you bother them? And do they play with you or read you a book? It's great to spend time with your brother or sister and do things like this with them. I had a younger brother, and I used to read stories to him when he was little. Um, it's been great reading these stories for you, Naja. I hope you have a great summer. All right, bye bye.